Hey everyone, so we just wanted to come on and give a final update of our son TJ, and to say thank you so much for all of your prayers, all of your words of encouragement for TJ. They definitely don't go unnoticed. My inbox is absolutely flooded. So if it shows you that I have read your message, yes, we have, but we just don't have the time to respond to everybody individually. And our primary focus has ultimately been making sure that TJ's mental state is okay and that he is continuing to heal from all of this. I got my little paper, y'all, so I don't miss my bullet points. So first I want to state, I already said first. So second, I'm going to state that due to a conflict of interest with my job, I am not, as I've stated in prior videos, I'm not going to state the name of the school where this is happening, nor will I state the city or the school district that this is happening. That is just for one, to protect myself and my husband, and also ultimately, even though these people and their children have not necessarily brought peace to my son or our family, we are ultimately peacemakers, and we're not about hostility. We're all about positivity, and we're going to leave it at that. So next, I want to talk about the purpose of my videos, because obviously there is a issue there still. I've gotten emails, I've gotten phone calls. You mind taking your video down? No, I do mind. Yes, I do mind taking my video down, because I'm not going to take it down, because obviously you're missing the issue at hand. The purpose of my video is to invoke change. Change ain't change until you change. But if you don't know what to change, how can you change? So that is why we are bringing attention to racism and hate. It has obviously existed forever. However, we're going to continue to bring it to the light, because obviously and unfortunately it's happening inside of our schools, which is absolutely ridiculous. Kids should not have to deal with this in schools. So am I going to take my videos down? Not now, not ever. They're going to always stay up, okay? Unless they shut Facebook down, YouTube down, my videos will remain, okay? That's that. So please don't send me no more messages about that, because it's about to get on my nerves. And when you try to shut people up, that makes people get louder. And I'm one of them people that when you try to make me be quiet, I'm going to keep on talking. So let's leave that at that. The consequences, as far as consequences that the kids have faced who were guilty of these actions, we are not privy to all of that information, because a lot of this information is private, which rightfully so, because it's somebody else's child. So we don't know the specific number of days that, kids might have been suspended or whatever the case is. We just know that our son was being harassed, and that is what we brought to the administration, and harassment was founded, which means that after their investigations, there have been multiple investigations. So after the investigations, they were able to verify that these things did happen. So whether that means that some of the kids from the team, which more than likely got in those meetings and said, this did happen, we are able to verify that. And it's not just TJ that this happened to. It was another child who we're going through the process with their parents also of this whole process. So yes, they found it, and they've been able to verify that. You can't just dish out consequences to someone and there's no proof. So obviously it has been founded, and as I stated, we're not privy to the information of the actual details of the consequences. We just know the basics, and there, are some things that I kind of won't touch on just to keep the peace there, but there have been consequences put in place. Another unfortunate outcome, was the baseball season ending for the entire team with 5 games remaining. And let me say, I'm going to say this to the parents and the team before they try to blame TJ or try to blame the other child or try to blame us for that. We had nothing to do with that. We didn't make that decision. That was a decision that was made by the administration and whoever above them, or the administration. We didn't make that decision. We didn't go in waving a wand saying, y'all better do this, y'all better do that. We don't have that kind of power to make those decisions. That was a decision that they decided to make. So in that, I hope that you all see a bigger picture, and that there was a culture of hate and racism and negativity that was created on that team. And regardless of whether your children try to come home to you and tell you that they didn't know that this was going on, that's a lie. Everybody on that team absolutely knew. everything that was going on. And while I'm not trying to put the responsibility of standing up or going to a trusted adult about this on somebody else, because my son ultimately kept this to himself for all these years. He's been on that team for 3 years, but I'm sure the culture of this hate and racism extends beyond that 3 years on this team. So TJ was like, Mom, the reason that I couldn't come forward is because my word against a whole bunch of other white kids, who do you think they're going to believe? And that's a sad reality that hit me hard, because it's reality, but it's a sad reality that our children can't bring forward something like this without feeling like they're not going to be vindicated. So I commend TJ for finally taking, and the other child who is involved, for taking that step to say, enough is enough. We are sick and tired of this, and we're going to put our foot down and we're going to go tell somebody that this is going on so that we can bring about change to the team. So to whoever the kids were in those meetings, or whoever the kids were that felt like they needed to stand up and tell the truth about what was going on, we thank you. We absolutely thank you. And, I empathize with the fact that you have to be involved in a situation when you're innocent. So for the innocent ones who were not doing this to my son and the other child, thank you for being kind. And thank you for trying to pave the way for change for those of you that did decide to make that bold step to say this is happening. Next, I wanted to talk about self-reflections. In all of this, we have to realize, parents, we have to realize that our children are a direct representation of us. So what we instill in our children, good or bad, is going to come out at some point. So ultimately, it is up to us to do self-evaluation, self-reflections, and say, hey, is this a healthy characteristic that I'm creating in my child? Or is this a healthy characteristic that I am carrying? Is it healthy that I'm negative all the time? Your children are going to start to duplicate that same behavior. And what do you think, once your children start duplicating that same behavior, what do you think your children are going to do when they have children? Their children are going to duplicate the same behavior. Generational curse, generational cycles. Generational cycles. So you have to break the cycle. But you can't break a cycle until you take some time for self-reflection. You can't change something until you know what needs to be changed. So take this time and say, and if you're not racist, if you say, I'm not racist, I don't know where my child is getting that from, because we don't talk that way in our home, we don't act that way. So if you're not, then obviously your child is trying to fit in with a group of people. And you need to have those tough conversations with them about, hey, why are you trying to be like that person? I ain't raised you like that. Sit down and have that conversation with them to tell them, hey, check yourself before you wreck yourself. Because if you don't do self-evaluations, it's going to lead to self-destruction. Because ultimately you say if some of these kids had said this to the wrong kid, they would have got knocked out. Thankfully, TJ is a child who is quiet and passive. Not saying he's weak, but he's introverted. So he's not going to react the way that somebody else will react. So your children are very fortunate that they didn't say this to somebody else who has a different temperament. I also want to say that we have been approached by the news, by the newspapers, and we have turned, initially I was like, I'm going to tell everybody this don't make no sense. I'm pissed. But nobody can really narrate the story of our son's life and what he's gone through the way that he can and the way we can as his parents. So I don't need the news to do that. I don't need the newspaper to do that. I'm going to use my platform that I have here so that you can hear my voice. You can hear it from the horse's mouth. What exactly, the exact emotions that we feel, what exactly I said, what exactly TJ said, what exactly my husband said. We want you to hear it exactly from our mouth so that you're not going by hearsay. So we have protected some of these people because we honestly could have been on a whole exposure campaign. A whole exposure campaign. And some of these kids, I'm not going to say that because that's going to give it away, but we could have been on a whole exposure campaign. Like, seriously. So I hope that this is a lesson to all, where you can take this and you can make the changes. If somebody brings something to your attention, then say, you know what, let me stop and think about this. Maybe I am. And guys, even after all this went on, even in the process of the investigation, there was still a child on the team who on the baseball field, he ended up getting dismissed from the team, but who on the baseball field said, when TJ got done pitching, he said, why'd they put his black ASS in the game? Another child heard him. I'm not even going to get into the details of that. But yes, y'all, this is happening, and this is real life. People are real life racists out in these streets. So all that to say, please keep TJ and the other child involved in prayer, that they continue to heal from this process. And have I mentioned also that these people they have tried to retaliate already. So I can't imagine what they're going to be up to next. But ultimately, our faith remains in our Heavenly Father, and we stand on the fact that no weapon formed against us shall prosper, and anything that they try will fall to the ground in Jesus' name, because God don't play about us, and we stand firm on that. We stand firm on our faith in the midst of this ridiculous situation that is going on. God will get the glory out of this, and I don't know what story that. I don't know how this will play out in the future for TJ, but I pray that he writes a book or something about this, because we literally feel like we have been living in a fiction novel the last few weeks. It has literally felt like that. And if my husband and I have been struggling mentally with this and not sleeping well, we can't even imagine what our son is going through. And the other child that's involved with TJ, mentally, these kids are struggling mentally. And it is our job as their parents to continue to hold them up. And I pray that for the teammates who were guilty, there was one kid who came and said that he was sorry. And I don't know whether his intentions were genuine or not, but I commend him for at least saying that he's sorry, because when you know that you've wronged somebody, why not go, and you've did that, taking those time for self-reflections, then you go and say, you know what, let me go say I'm sorry, because ultimately forgiveness is for you. It's not just for the person you hurt. Forgiveness is for you, because you can't grow as a person until you see areas that you are weak and areas that you need to change and how you have hurt people. All of us are guilty at some point in our life of hurting people. We all make mistakes. But it is up to us as individuals to take that time to say, where can I be? How can I be different? And going forward, how can I be a better human being? And I think we all need to reflect on that. And we just want to thank you guys again. We love all of you so much. And hopefully I don't have to show my face on here again.